Hey, I'm in my usual haunt, Stony View. Hopefully, and it's free time. Hopefully, no campers come up here because they have literally no reason to. So, fingers crossed. Um, I figured I would compile some entertaining stories to be told. Um, and this is a dual recipient video, meaning it's for Callie and Jasper. So I'll explain stuff a little more than I would normally have to for you, Jasper, because Callie will also be seeing it, and I picked some stories that I thought both of you would find funny. Just saving myself some time. Okay, I guess it was just a chipmunk, but I heard something. Uh, let's see. First up to bat, this is a story from this morning. So we were sitting around in the leader lounge, and Andy Brozick comes in. And Andy Brozick, neither of you know, but he's a new staff member. He's awesome. He's one of my favorite new staff members. But to give you a little background that makes this a little funnier, in my opinion, Andy played football in high school. He's a pretty big guy, not like big overweight, but just like a big guy. If you just saw him, you'd expect him to be kind of like a jockish type, um, but he's secretly like a huge dork. Uh, so he just like storms into the leader lounge after breakfast, and he goes, "Malish, I gotta tell you a story." And I was just like, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay, you won't believe this. I was sitting there in breakfast today, and some kid told me he doesn't like Dragon Ball Z." And I was just like, okay, because Andy and I had discussed at length Dragon Ball Z in the past. So obviously there's a good reason for him to be telling me this story. And he goes, "Yeah, man, I just looked at that kid and I was like, you know what? I got half a mind to just go Super Saiyan on your butt right now." And which I thought was just doubly better the fact that he said on your butt, just like no adult says that. But Andy Brozick did. Uh, so yeah. Um, and then Shane Wood is a new staff member as well. And basically, he has like an obsession with deceiving campers. So he just like makes up stuff and tells it to them. And yeah, that's why they will never let him be a dare leader, even though that's what he wants to be, because he would just confuse them and mess with them like all day long, and that would be no good. Um, but so he was like carrying his guitar into like lower D Bay, because actually, oh yeah, actually right now he's like a 1 week dare leader, but he wasn't supposed to be. It was because of like some mishap. Um, but so he was carrying his guitar, and a couple of campers came up to him, and they were like, "Oh, hey, Shane, I didn't know he played guitar." And he just looked at them and just straight face said, like, "I don't. I'm just carrying this around." And being dares, they actually believed him, and he sat down on one of the like picnic table bench things in Lower D Bay, and he just starts playing, and they're like a group of kids, and uh, the two kids who he'd like first said this to were like James and Jackson were their names, and James was standing next to Shane, and as Shane starts playing, James just like whips around, just like his eyes like bug out, and he goes, "Jackson, Jackson, he's playing, he can play, he's amazing." True story. Um, I just can't get over that. Dares are great. Oh yeah, for Callie's knowledge, dares are ages or grades 4 through 6, so they're the youngest kids. But I just can't get over that. He's playing, he's playing, he's amazing. Which leads me to recall my story of darer fascination from when I was a dare leader a couple of years ago. And I had a spry young man by the name of Ben McDermott, who is colossal for his age. He's a challenger now, but he's probably like over 6 feet. But when he was a dare, he was almost as tall as me. And we had just gotten done. I think, Jasper, you've heard this story, but oh well, you're going to hear it again. It's a good story. We had just gotten done with Knight's Doings, and we've been playing like Capture the Flag, and I was all hyped up because I'd been allowed to play for some reason. I say for some reason because any staff member would have known that I would have like dominated children in that game. Just because that game's all about speed and I'm way faster than all the campers. And so like I said, I'm obsessed with sprinting and going faster than other people, so I was really excited because I went faster than everyone. A lot of times. So we were back in the bay and getting ready to go to Knight's Doing, getting ready to go to ER or something, Evening Reflections. And I was like trying to get the guys going because they were just being lazy and slow. And so I was like, come on, let's go. And I started sprinting off like from the front of our cabin, and I just completely cleared, like I leapt and completely cleared one of the picnic bench things, which I guess, Callie, you don't know how big they are, but Jasper, you know how big they are, and they're like pretty sizable. And I just completely jumped over it, and Ben McDermott just screams, "Oh my God, you're like a panther!" Ben McDermott, everyone. That's probably one of my favorite stories from when I was a dare leader. And then here are a couple of other recent happenings. I have this new kid in my cabin, Michael, the Highlander Highland, and like 4 of the kids in my cabin are all from Cleveland and like grew up together, which is kind of bad in a way because they only ever talk to each other instead of Sasha, my French kid, and Jonah, who is super quiet and from St. Louis. But apparently, like Will Hart, who, Jasper, you might remember, totally crazy, really lanky, but Will Hart and Michael have like some choreographed dance that they made up like at some point. And so everyone was trying to convince them to do it. We were just like hanging out, and everyone was trying to convince them to do it. And Will was totally down. He was like really psyched. He was like, "Come on, Michael, come on!" And Michael just completely straight faced. He's like, "No, Will, no. I'm sorry. I just don't know if I'm ready to get funky right now." But he was 100% serious. He wasn't like trying to have a straight face to make it a joke. He was dead serious, saying, "I don't know if I'm ready to get funky right now." That's a great way to make a first impression. And then, what was it? Oh yeah, and then Pretty Ricky Owens, who obviously, Jasper, you should remember Pretty Ricky, and Callie, you should remember Pretty Ricky from my senior video thing. He was the one who likes to play tampon-related jokes. He's in my cabin this session, and on opening day, so Sunday, we were sitting around in the cabin, like waiting for some other people to come, and Nick Marks had left his water bottle, and it had, like, it was about 1/4 of the way full of coffee, just old coffee. And I said, like, Ricky was kind of like fumbling with stuff on the table, and he was like, "Whose water bottles are these?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I don't know who that one's is, but that's Nick Marks, and it's got coffee in it, and trust me, don't drink it." And Ricky was just like, "Okay, whatever." And we kept on hanging out, and I stopped, I guess, like paying attention to him for a little while, and all of a sudden I just hear out on the front deck of the cabin, and I whip around, and Ricky just has this face of pure disgust, and he's holding Nick's water bottle, and he was like, "Oh my God, Melech, I just drank the coffee." And I was like, "Ricky, I told you not to drink that, man. Why would you drink that?" And he's, well, I wanted like a little energy boost, and I thought I'd have some. And I was like, Ricky, I told you that coffee is old. Don't drink it. And so he just stopped and he goes, wait, how old? And I said, I don't know, prank night? And Nick got it on prank night when we were at girls' camp, which, yeah, Jasper, I told you about prank night. Callie, I was texting you on prank night. So you know that was a Tuesday night. So that had been, I guess you could say, pretty close to a week before. And and so Ricky's eyes just like bug out of his head, and he just like freezes and he goes, I really want to yell it just as loud as he did, but I'm afraid that, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to yell it. He goes, prank night? That was like a week ago! Why didn't you tell me? I would pay like $10 to have that moment on video. I would also pay $10 to have on video the moment that Ricky found out he was in my cabin. Because I was walking up to B-Bay with like my cabin sign that has, you know, the kids' names on it and everything, and Ricky sniped me and he goes, Mellish, let me see your cabin sign. And I was just like, no, Ricky, no, I'm not going to show it to you. And he goes, Mellish, please, let me see your sign, please. And so I was just like, fine, you know what, Ricky, because I like you, I'll let you see it. So I flip it around, and he takes a little moment to find the names, and then he just screams, he goes, yes! Oh my God! Yes! And just started jumping up and down, like physically jumping up and down, like stomping his feet on the ground, and spinning around and like throwing his arms. It was something that only a darer would normally be capable of. It was like that YouTube video with like the kid getting an N64 for Christmas. He went that ape. It was amazing. Yeah. Also, in Jasper-related news, John Lulish recently asked me why I'm not the President of the United States yet. I told him I didn't know. And he also asked me why I don't run camp yet. And he said he'd never heard anyone say that they hated me before. And that was enough evidence as to why I should be in control of everything. Also, this is a story that is mostly for Jasper, but I think you'll find it funny, Callie. So Lars Bears, was a camper that Jasper had last year, and he was ridiculously eccentric and so weird. And so today I was walking along and I spotted Lars, and I said, hey Lars, Jasper misses you, which you didn't necessarily tell me that, but I was going to tell him anyway. I was going to tell, maybe it would brighten his day or something. And he goes, I know, I miss him too. And I haven't heard Lars speak that much, but that's a somewhat accurate impression of him, I guess. And I was like, yeah, I know, he really wanted to be here. And he was like, yes, when I was applying, I personally called the Minnewanka front office, and I said, hello, I'd like to request to have Jasper Grossman as my leader. And they said, Jasper Grossman is not currently employed by the AYF. And I just yelled, no, into the phone. Like a darer, a little kid on his own volition, called the AYF and asked them if you could be his leader, and then yelled, no, into the phone. Oh. Yeah, good times. I think that's all for Jasper. So yeah, you can stop watching if you want. And then, Callie, I will give you a impression or an example of passive aggressivism. So imagine you said, we were hanging out and you would say something like, hey, let's watch a movie, and I would say, okay, let's watch X, like some random movie, and you were like, no, let's watch like Mulan, and I was just like, no, I don't want to watch Mulan. And she's like, come on, watch it, and or it'd be better if it was a group of people. So a group of people are like trying to like get me to agree to watch this movie, and then finally I'm just like, okay, we'll watch it. And we start watching, and like part of the way through, actually it doesn't matter if it's a group, but whatever. Anyway, part of the way through the movie, you would just like turn to me and be like, hey, like I'm sorry, like that I annoyed you, like are you okay? And then I would say something like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, it's no big deal. Like that. That's passive aggressivism. Like actually being angry but refusing to admit it. Um, and for example, at Tag Banquet, my tag award for this year was which Sam Kiker presented to me, and Sam Kiker wrote all the awards. My award was most likely to point out that I'm passive aggressive, which is totally fine. So yeah, that's passive aggressivism, and it's really annoying. And hallelujah that Sam Kiker is gone. Oh yeah, and also I look like a total scrub right now because I had 2 physical IGs in a row, and I sweat up a storm. And I was gonna go back to my cabin and just like put on a hat or something, but then I was like, "F it," and I just came up here because I don't have all that much time. Actually, holy crap, I gotta get going. But so yeah, those are some entertaining stories. That's passive aggressivism. I hope I didn't have anything else to say because I didn't say it. Um, yeah, have a good week. Bye.